Doc Rightwing here, and this is my short summary of the must-watch movie 2000 Mules, which reveals compelling evidence of massive voter fraud that stole the 2020 election. The 2000 Mules are vote traffickers who were paid by nonprofits in league with the Democratic Party to deposit fraudulent ballots into drop boxes in all the key battleground states. These mules were discovered not by the NSA or the FBI, neither of which has any interest in investigating crimes committed by Democrats. No, they were discovered by a team of ordinary people who purchased GPS phone data from certain cities in the battleground states, such as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and combined that data with video surveillance footage from the ballot drop boxes. They found that thousands of people traveled from drop box to drop box, depositing multiple ballots per box. Here's the path of one such mule.
What you see here on the screen is a single person on a single day in Atlanta, Georgia. They went to 28 drop boxes in 5 organizations in one day.
And here's what it looked like when one of these mules traveled from out of state to cast fraudulent ballots in the Georgia runoff elections that elected, surprise, surprise, 2 Democrats into the Senate, giving Democrats the 51 votes they'd need to ram their radical agenda through.
Approximately 1 o'clock in the morning on January the 5th.
Stuffs her ballots in there. It's like a small stackish, maybe 3, maybe 4. Takes them off, and then puts them in a trash can that she never looked at.
So she knew it was there.
She knew it was there, right? And so we have her on a number of locations.
She's an out-of-state mule, and this is in no way the only drop box that she attended.
That's right.
No, she's goes to dozens and dozens over the course of these 2 elections.
Now here's the shocking but not so shocking revelation. When they add up all the drop boxes that these mules visited and estimate an average of 5 ballots deposited per visit, they find that Trump was the rightful winner of the 2020 election.
Now we come to Georgia. 250 mules, averaging 24 drop box visits and 5 illegal ballots per drop. That's 30,000 illegally trafficked votes, far more than the 12,000 vote difference between Trump and Biden. So Georgia, with 16 electoral votes, moves over into the Trump column. In Arizona, the numbers are roughly the same. 200 mules, averaging 20 drop box visits and 5 illegal ballots per drop. That's 20,000 illegal votes. Again, these illegal votes are substantially more than the 10,000 vote margin that gave the state's 11 electoral votes to Biden. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania alone, 1,100 mules, averaging 50 drop box visits and 5 ballots per visit. That's 275,000 illegal votes, again comfortably exceeding the 80,000 vote margin between Trump and Biden. So Pennsylvania's 20 electoral votes goes for Trump. Shockingly, even this narrow way of looking at just our 2,000 mules in these swing states gives Trump the win, with 279 electoral votes to Biden's 259.
And here they summarize their findings.
Do we know for sure that this was not, in fact, far from, the most secure election in history?
It was not.
We know that for a fact.
Do we know for a fact that there was coordinated, systematic fraud in all the key states where the election was decided?
Yes.
Yes.
And therefore, does it follow that the people who suspected fraud, even though they didn't have the proof, their suspicion was right?
Absolutely. Their instincts are right.
And moreover, that the states that are trying to do something about systematic fraud by restoring a modicum of, let's call it the old rules, checking your voter ID, checking signatures. You want a mail-in ballot? You know what? You got to request an absentee ballot. We're not going to send 20 million ballots out there and see what comes back. That these voter integrity laws, far from being voter suppression, are actually a legitimate way to make sure that the people who vote are actually eligible to vote.
100% accurate.
That's absolutely correct.
So wake up, conservatives, because you're losing your country.
I mean, wouldn't it be an accurate summary to say that these voter bills that the Democrats are desperate to enact, to federalize the election, isn't it that they want to take all these special provisions that have enabled what we've described, or you've described in the 2020 election, and make it permanent?
If we don't wake up and do the hard, roll up your sleeves work that it's going to take to reel this all back together, then yes, all the pieces are in place for our election system to be in permanent lockdown. And it will be done under the watchful eye of a media that will tell you it's all just fine.
It seems like they are subverting democracy in the public pretense of protecting it.
Absolutely. And it won't stop unless we stop it.
So how should we fight back? I propose two things. First, we need to demand an investigation, which they touch on in the documentary. We need a real investigation where these mules are interrogated as thoroughly as the January 6th rioters or Michael Flynn.
These guys have the cell phone identification of all the mules, all of them. So law enforcement has to step in at this point, and their next step
What were you doing 7
is
times?
to go and interview the mules. Who paid you?
Right.
Where'd you get the money?
Will any state's law enforcement do this?
This is a big question.
Second, we need to make damn certain this doesn't happen in the November midterms. That means we need to form Dropbox watch groups that keep an eye on these Dropboxes and stand prepared to make a citizen's arrest if we see one of these felonies taking place. If no one else is going to stop the subversion of our democracy, then we'll just have to do it ourselves. So stand with me, comrades, and let's fight for our country together.
They rigged and stole the 2020 presidential election. We cannot be okay with this. We cannot simply move on.
And that's all for now. Please like and subscribe. Visit my site, docrightwing.com. And until next time, comrades.